Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 19th of June. The first important news, that is Gandhi Peace Prize to be conferred on Gita Press, something important, factually relevant for prelims examination. Second, PM lauded Miyawaki forest and basically farming. This was already there in that question for UPSC prelims examination 2022. States took alternative as center restrict FCI purchase, which was a recent decision by the Ministry of Corporations also. The second last, that is India UK seeks equal treatment for services sector. And the last is an editorial, the risk threshold. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And before I begin this session, if you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do press a like button. And if you're someone who is preparing for mains this year, now we have started Abhiyut, an important program for UPSC mains 2023. This will combine the test series come guidance program, which will cover and help you to master each and every subject. This initiative is available both online and offline. And this specific course program include 4 general studies tests, which will be followed by 2 essay paper and 2 ethics paper to give you the comprehensive preparation so that you can excel in the mains examination. The program has already started on 18th of June. For more details, you can refer to our website or you can reach out to our contact number. So do check it out. This will definitely help you to ace the part of mains examination. Now, moving on with the first news, that is Gandhi Peace Prize 2021 to be conferred on Gita Press. Something important for General Studies Paper 2, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementations. So why we are discussing this news? Because recently Ministry of Culture said that the Gandhi Peace Prize for 2021 will be conferred to Gita Press, which is based in Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh, right? In the recognition of an outstanding contributions to a social, economic and political transformations through a non-violent and other Gandhian methods. Now, the jury was actually headed by Prime Minister. So the entire part of the jury was headed by Prime Minister, and they have unanimously decided and selected Gita Press Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh as a recipient of Gandhi Peace Prize 2021. This is very important if you are preparing for any type of government examination, be it is PSU, SSC, banking and many other state pieces. This will be a direct question that will be framed. Now, contributions of Gita Press की अगर बात करें, the Prime Minister recalled that the contribution of Gita Press in promoting the Gandhian ideas of peace and harmony is important. And he observed that the conferment of the Gandhi Peace Prize on Gita Press is again the completions of 100 years of its establishment. So this marks the 100-year establishment and recognitions of the work done by the institution in the community services. Now about Gita Press, a brief about the Gita Press. This was established way back in 1923. So it was actually an institution, a press that was established pre-independence. And it is one of the largest publisher, which having 41.7 crore books in 14 languages, including 16.21 crore in Samrid Bhagavad Gita. The Gita Press has a main objective to promote and spread principle of Sanatan Dharma, which is a Hindu religion, and among the general people by establishing Gita, Ramayana, Upanishad, Purana, and other discourse on the eminent saints and other character building books, which include magazines, marketing them for highly subsidized price. Now, Gandhi Peace Prize की अगर बात करें, I think most of you must be aware of the fact that this award is being conferred annually by the government. Since 1995, this has been functional, and occasion of 125th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi as a tribute to applaud Mahatma Gandhi's ideas. Now, this award is also open to every individual who is from India, nationality, race, the part of the language, caste, creed, and gender. So, regardless of any nationality, Government of India confer it to the foreign people also, the foreign national also. The award carried amount of 1 crore and a citations like an exquisite traditional handicraft handloom to them. Now, the awardees, the prior awardees who were the part include the organization like ISRO has been awarded with the Gandhi Peace Prize, Ramakrishna Mission, Gramin Bank of Bangladesh, Vivekananda Kendra, Kanyakumari, Sulabh International, New Delhi. Now, the recent awardee include the Sultan Qaboos bin Shahid Al Said of Oman and Sheikh Mujibur Rahman of Bangladesh. As I've told you, there's no restriction on the part of the nationality. So these were the awardees. Now, moving to the other news, Prime Minister lauded Miyawaki forest and farming. Something important for Gender Studies Paper 3, that is the conservation, environmental pollutions, degradation, and EIA. And just to remind you, UPSC has already asked a question in Miyawaki method in 2022 prelims examination. If you have not checked that question, do check it out, you will get an idea. Now, addressing the citizen during 102 episode of the monthly radio address, that is the Man Ki Baat, which Prime Minister address every Sunday, the Prime Minister has lauded the Japanese technique, or which is known as Miyawaki method in the farming process, right? So you can see this is an example how the process take place. A small piece of land is used to develop the dense forest. So this is also called as urban forest, right? So Miyawaki is actually a Japanese method, aims to create urban forest in a small area. So this is evident from this picture. The Prime Minister also cited the example of Kerala-based teacher Rafi Ramat, who's used the Miyawaki method to transform a barren land into a mini forest in the Vietnam by planting 150 varieties of trees. Now, what is Miyawaki plantation method? How did it actually work? So it is named after the Japanese botanist named as Ikara Miyawaki, and the methodology was adopted way back in 1970 with a basic objective to intensify and even create a dense forest, then green cover in a small parcel of land, right? So in a small parcel of land, a dense forest is created. Now the method involved 2 or 4 full types of indigenous trees within every square. And in this method, tree becomes self-sustaining and they grow in full length within 3 years. So the growth is also at the higher rate. The plant used in Miyawaki method includes self-sufficient and does not require regular maintenance, manuring, and watering. Now, how is Miyawaki method useful? So this is like, first and foremost, it aims to create a dense forest, green cover to the indigenous tree, playing a key role in absorbing a dust particle and the area where garden has been set up, right? The plant also help in regulating the surface temperature. And some of the common indigenous plant that is used, depending on the region and the forest. So this will include Anjan, Amala, Bale, Arjun, and Gunj. So these are some of the tree which is predominant in India, and they use it to create an urban forest. So this is what we discussed. You can just have a glimpse for the revision purposes. Urban forest, within 2 to 5 years, native species are used. Assessment of soil and nutrition is done. Nutrient soil is checked through sampling. So there are certain criteria and method. The sampling is one of them, which they check upon the criteria of the nutrient value and the suitability of a specific plant for the particular soil. Now, moving ahead, states took alternative as center restrict the FCI purchase. This was a recent decision made by the union government. Relevant for your general studies paper 3 mains, that is issues related to direct and indirect farm subsidies, minimum support price, and public distribution system. So the union government will not allow the state government. This is what has been communicated, that center will not allow the state to bid federally for the food grain that is held with the Food Corporation of India, right? So the recent decision was made with regard to the purchase of quantities that has been reduced to accommodate the small and marginal buyer, right? Now, the move will reduce the quantity of the food grain that was purchased under the open market scheme, which was there, and this aims to curb the inflation also. Now, India federally held the food stockpile, stand up to 72.5 million ton, which include the largest surplus. If you see, there's a reduction in quantity after the revision by the government rule, the recent changes that has been brought in. So the government has decided to reduce this under the OMSD, that is open market scheme, and the Food Corporation of India will basically allow only 10 to 100 tons, right? So earlier the maximum quantity was 3,000 ton, which has been reduced to 100 to 10 to 100 ton. Now the quantity has been reduced this time to accommodate the small and marginal buyer, that will ensure the wider reachability of the scheme. And even to tell you, गवर्नमेंट के पास नेशनल फूड सिक्योरिटी एक्ट है, उसको भी पूरे करने के लिए ये सारी चीज़ों को रेगुलेट करने की जरूरत है. Now there was an inter-ministerial committee. There were certain recommendations that was given, and even they have recommended the discontinuations of sale that was made to the state, and the government will distribute the free food grain to 800 million beneficiaries under the National Food Security Act 2013. However, the committee decided to continue the sale of rice in northeastern states facing the law and order situations and natural calamities of an existing 3,400 per quintal. Now, moving to the other news, India, UK seeking equal treatment for services sector. Something important for Gender Studies paper 2, that is the effect of policies and politics for developed and developing countries on India's interest and India's diaspora. So India and UK are seeking the equal treatment in each other market for their respective companies' engagement in services sector under the proposed free trade agreement, which is FTA, which is in negotiation. The two countries are looking to promote trade and services. अगर बात करें agreement की, that was actually launched in January 2021, and there's 10 round of talks that is already there to negotiate on the part of services sector and to strengthen the part of FTA between India and UK. Now, service sectors की अगर बात करें, this is again something predominant and an important aspect when it comes to bilateral relationship between India and UK. And UK is seeing keen interest on the area of financial sectors, which include India, the part of people who are actually going there for educations and even the movement of skilled professionals, right? That are actually helping UK economy. The service chapter for the free trade agreement will have no customs duty concessions that will give in to each other. Now, both of the exchange list of the services were also keen to promote the export, and negotiation between the two countries and agreement cover as many as 26 policies and chapter. Now, India की जो populations है, how many Indian students are actually there in United Kingdom? So according to the official statement by the immigration, it said a certain student, which is again higher than the Chinese number. So Indian student the first overtaking the Chinese group, which is there in UK. So this is a massive increase from 273%. This is the current percentage rate. And the UK Home Office Department has said that the part of the increase has shown the national granting visas to skilled worker, which is something close to 56,042 grant were given last year. Now, the Indian national also represented the highest number of visas, that is 36% of the total, under the tailor skill part, and the care visa tailor are the professional reinforcing distributions of the state funded and the health services. Now, if you see the bilateral trade value between India and UK, so this is something which is close to 20.36 and basically currently than earlier compared to 17.5. So India export has been 14.4 billion from earlier 10.5 billion. Aggregate demand की अगर बात करें, this is the number, and the main export to UK is already ready-made garment, textile, gems, jewelries, engineering products, petroleum, petrochemicals, transport, spices, machinery and instrument, pharmaceutical and other marine products. Now, moving ahead with the editorial of the day, the risk threshold. So something important for general studies paper 3, that is the conservation, environmental pollutions, degradations and AI. So under this editorial, what is the theme and the focus of this article? The theme is about the climate change. We'll see the impact of irregular rain. IPCC की जो report है उसकी क्या findings हैं, and even need for the emissions reductions and the way forward. So Indian Meteorological Department has been issuing a long operational rain predictions about the forecast with the southwest monsoon, and it says that the southwest monsoons regional come from June to September with the average rain, and country as a whole has a two-stage process. The first stage that is forecasted is for April, and second stage is updated for the month of end of May. So the prediction is about the southwest monsoon. We have seen the cyclonic activities from 1st of June onwards. The part of the monsoon reach out to the India, specifically hitting the Kerala coast at first. Now the report of the southwest monsoon has brought in the bittersweets, and the news for India that some analysts claim that the suburb whistle of the IM predict that the normal rains this year. But again we have to see, because this is a time of El Nino, right? So El Nino के time में जो basically it is something, the rain, I mean the predicting the part of the rain is not that high, and India has witnessed dry. To some area it will have extreme rain, but mostly it is the part for the distribution get disturbed. Impact of irregular rains की अगर बात करें, irregular rains have a bigger impact on the economy and the market sentiment, and even the deficit or delayed monsoons. The conditions of flood, drought, extreme rain, and subsequent crop damage impact the part of the challenges which we have seen never before. And in this El Nino era, this is something which is evident, which will be something that India will face. The World Meteorological Organization recent report has said that the global temperature touching 1.5 degrees Celsius in early June is a warning that climate emergency is upon us. Now, IPCC की report है. What does the report says? There was a 6th synthesis report which was released by the IPCC, that is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. It says and reiterates that the government are not doing just to tackle the crisis. The current pace of the remedial measure will see the global average temperature rise to 2.7 degrees Celsius and the pre-industrial level at 2100, right? And something that is expected that all net zero emissions achieved correctly, we have to come down to 2.2 degrees Celsius, which is even 1.5 degree that was set by the Paris climate change. Now, the estimations of 2 million people lost their lives in 1970 to 2019 is there, and it's due to extreme weather and a loss of 6.5 trillion as in value. Now, during the climate action, delaying event to 2030, it's likely to push temperature beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is again the part of Paris climate change agreement. Now, need for emission reductions, definitely this is something that should come up. जितने भी major economies हैं around the world, they need to come up with a commitment where they're reducing the part of their emissions, and the quantum of climate finance has only slightly over the past decades reaching to 579 billion from 1780. Now this is about 10 times. It is estimated that 6.3 trillion is needed by 2030 to stay aligned to the Paris Agreement. This is again an important point that you can take a note of. And 11 million subsidies that oil gas industries are benefited from the day of transitions or even more, right? So these are some of the finances, dedications and commitment that will be required both from the developed and developing countries. Now to conclude this part, the switch to clean energy is a viable option not only for developed countries but for both developing and developed countries. The government must view this challenge as a lifetime opportunity and even the sake of reliance on fossil fuel and build self-energy system that can more cost effective and more sustainable in nature. The race for 2050 must be about the net zero emissions and carbon neutrality towards the zero life emissions, which is a matter for survival, right? So United States is achieving by 2070, China is achieving by 2060. This is for China. If you see the part of India, India has said that we'll be achieving net zero emissions by 2070. Now, moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday's questions. For first question, the correct option was C. For second question, the correct option is A. Today's MCQ, that is the Shwar Deor Festival. The festival aims to showcase country's iconic art and culture. It is organized by the Ministry of Culture. So do check out for the correct option. Now the second question of the day is with regards to Rabi crop. According to the Union Ministry for Agriculture, Rabi crop increased 9%. Many of the northwestern India and they keep producing like wheat, mustard, and chana. Many have seen sea warmer winters and likely to subsume the activities of the western disturbance. So check out for the correct option. Practicing a lot more current affairs and contemporary question will help you to gauge the extra conceptual knowledge and even excel in the part of the examination. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern about queries and courses, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.